Let's let the room fill up before we get off and running. Hello, Diana. What's up, Mike? What's up, Jeff Jesse? Greetings from JT Construction Studio. Sports Time Live Friday night, where I'm doing absolutely nothing tonight because I felt like it. We got a lot of things to discuss. Everything from low carb, and I need a haircut. Carb, Easter to weather to food. Real quick, I want to mention this. Kind of a sad way to start the show. What's up, Tyler? How you doing, buddy? Thoughts and prayers are with the Blair family. I did not know Keenan. I know some of the EMS. I know he was the main guy in the county EMS, but everything I've heard and seen posted about him, he was well loved and well liked. A lot of energy, and he leaves behind a family, and thoughts and prayers to them and to our EMS first responders in the county. So, like I said, I did not know him personally. I hope we can have at some point in time in the EMS people on here. I think that's a group of folks that we don't give enough recognition to. I'm all about fire departments and police departments and things like that, but right alongside of them almost every time they go out, EMS and things like that. So hopefully we can get them in and discuss how it works around here and what's going on. But prayers to the Blair family. Reps, JB's at Reps. JB, do another set or two for me. Tyler, you're an animal. He already went to the Tyler goes to the gym in the middle of the day, then comes back to work. Teresa Messmer, how you doing, dear? 14. I thought we'd have more on there by now. We'll wait a minute. We'll wait a minute. Like and share. Get this up to 20 plus, and then we'll dig into. Where's my keto haters at? We're going to discuss this at length. There's Darlene. Hello, Darlene. We're going to discuss diets, keto, chemistry, age, all that stuff. Give it a few more minutes. I'm hoping this. Love me some keto. I'm right there with you. We may not get very many people. I thought there'd be more on tonight. Maybe they're out. What time is it? It's only 8:45. I thought it was later. Try to catch everybody home so we don't. We'll watch it later, which they do. We get a lot of people watch it later. I'm drinking. Well, we may not. We may not get people on here tonight. I can't myself. Share. I don't know if it's shared or not. What are your thoughts on salads? Tyler works with me, so and I know he eats. He's at that age where he can go to the gym and he works out every day religiously, and that's good for him. Hello, Pam. How you doing, dear? And he is very regimental on what he eats. He does eat salad every day. Eats a fruit every day, and he's fit. He's in good shape. Like I say, he's a young man. I Mac, I've had that, and that is I'm gonna get to that because there's a um it's got Brain Chills has a wrap, and I'm already talking to her. I'm like, make it into a bowl minus the wrap, but it's their Brad, I call it the Brad Rowe burger because it's the Just Right burger, and he pointed at that, but it's that in a wrap, minus the bread and all that, and it's I know what you're saying. It's delicious. I'm sure it's the same, but Tyler's a hard worker and hits the gym daily. So he knows he's on here giving me crap, and that's all right. But anyway, keto. I'm not full fledged keto. I started this about a week ago. Well, about a week and a half ago. I go low carb as much as I can. I don't. Pickles are a great snack. Get the pickles. I don't worry. I don't read. I don't research. I just know I'm allowed as pretty much meat as I want. I stick with chicken and beef, pork with bacon, sausage. Nightly, it's chicken. I'm surprised I haven't grown feathers yet because I eat chicken. Now I will go through a drive-through if it's late and I don't have anything here and I don't feel like going get a salad. I will hit a drive-through, and many of them do it now. And we will get to this on our new low carb cafe show. They will do a cheeseburger or a burger or even a chicken sandwich wrapped in lettuce, which I can hear the doubters. Well, you're still getting Tyler. You're still getting sugars from the ketchup, and that's how tight I am on. I don't do the ketchup. I will do mayo, and I will do some of that, but I try to cut sugar out completely. I know there's sugar in fruit, and that's fine. That's the good sugar, and your body burns that quicker and cleaner. And I will go to that. Chicken thighs are the way to go in my book, and I'll be making some of them Sunday night for dinner for the kids and myself. So, and he's a good cook too. He cooks chicken all the time. So, yes, I actually, Mac, I kind of skipped my normal breakfast today, and normally I'll eat a low carb bowl, and I won't. If I don't eat anything for lunch, then I'll stop and get something low carb at night on the way in, or get a salad. Well, I skipped breakfast just I got tired of eating the same thing, and by lunchtime, Tyler will tell you I was ready to chew off the side of a table, and I ordered me unwich wrap from Jimmy John's there in Avon today. That's what I had for lunch, and so I'm stuffed still from it, so I'm not even interested in eating dinner. My next meal will be tomorrow morning on the low carb cafe at a place that I will not name till tomorrow morning. But I'm not worried about sugars. Exactly, and that's that Rachel. You're right on the nose there. It's who. Let me get to that in a second. No, I understand, Mac. Same church, different pew. Keto was great. Kev was hangry. Yes, I was. Um, that's what I was trying to word when I posted it. There's millions of diets, millions of eat right, do this. I can't. I can't do the hey. I'm going to stick to a regimen, and first of all, it's expensive to eat healthy. We all know that. At least the healthy version of what they tell you is healthy. Well, I follow a guy on TikTok, and if I ever get his name again, he's a doctor from out in California. That dude eats liver, brains, Rocky Mountain oysters, uh, raw meat, vegetable and fruit. And he goes to the store and he picks apart your broccolis and your all that stuff, your tomatoes, just everything. And he's a very intelligent man. He breaks it down scientifically, and his theory is, the reason why it's like he says These weren't meant to be eaten by us. And if you break down the chemical compounds of it, it'll show you. And he says fruits, nuts, and berries and raw meat, the way that he eats it, and he lays it out and he's got it in front of you. I'm like, holy cow. But he's a good follow. And if I ever get his name, I will post it on Porch Time. Let me catch up with chat here real quick. I want to get to something. Since surgery, I have back to milk. Yes, they will. I go to Wendy's and get a Dave's burger without a bun. They put it in a container for me. Go there because they have real beef. Exactly. Wendy's has a good low carb lettuce wrap burger. Since surgery, I have salmon daily and mozzarella balls, mango, and broccoli, and I haven't had bread since January. Chris, that's awesome. I'm down 225 from 340. When I find out I was type 2, and I still eat junk food, but rarely and limited. Mac, good for you, buddy. Keep up the hard work. Tomatoes is loaded with fructose. It's actually a fruit. Yep. Yeah, he says tomatoes. Well, first of all, tomatoes are in front here. Originally, they were brought over. Ginger, you talking from Gilligan's Island? That's another show, JB, on another topic. There for a while, I would cut my food in half as soon as I got it, mainly when eating out, and put it away another meal for someone else. Be surprised how much. But see, this is what I want to get into, Steph. That works for you. People like myself, and I'm not saying this covers everybody, but for myself, it's a switch. Once you start eating, you're going to eat it all. And you're not going to put it down. You're going to finish what it is. I don't care if I find a lump of crap tasting. If I'm going to eat, if I get that, I'm going to eat that. I'm going to eat every bit of it till I'm done with it. That's just, and I understand. I have tried them all too. I've done the eat the outside of the store only. The inside's all bad for you. I've done all that. And keto is one thing that has, one thing that used to work for me was, I was part of the potatoes and meat every day. Bread, potatoes, meat every day. That is all we ate, every bit of it, everything. And we're all addicted to sugar. And every meal had bread, every meal had sugar of some sort, every meal had meat, and every meal had potatoes. Going good, Robert. Hope it's good for you too, sir. Yes. That's just how it was taught. And so when the switches turn on for me, forget it. I don't care if you tell me, eat some later. I'm like, later? I'm going to eat every ounce of this steak, every bit of this pie, every bit. I'm going to eat it all. For one, my dad's going to reach across the table and slap the crap out of me if I don't. And two, that is programmed into us. And that's how it is. And that's unfortunate. But I can't do that type. And I won't do that type. Because then it gets depressing. It's like, I don't want to do it. My body tells me, my mind tells me, you're not going to do it. So everybody's chemistry and makeup as far as what's good for them and what works for them to a certain point is a little different. I'm not going to go to the gym and work out. I hate working out. I hated working out when I was in the military. I'm not going to go to the gym and run on a treadmill for 30 hours a week. I'm not training for a marathon. And I understand, well, you got to do cardio. Yeah. To some. You open to eat a bite-sized candy bar and be? No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm not. I would eat all the bite-sized candy I have. Hey, you know where? Are you in town? You know how to get here if you're in town. It just popped on tonight, Brandon. This whole thing. But to me, what's up, Hunter D? We're all different. Oh, Terre Haute, I'm sorry. That's exactly right, Mac. We're all different. We're all different. Pretty good, Hunter. Hope all's good with you. Some of I worked out, and I'm just gonna little history. In the military, I watched what I ate, and I ran 7+ miles a day, and I played basketball at night, and I played football, and I played softball, and I did everything under the sun. And I still was on the borderline of what the military considered overweight at 156 pounds. And I had to do that every stinking day. Every day to maintain that. My metabolism is not like the person's next to me or that person or this person. So I have to really concentrate. And I despised running. I despised that crap. My older brother was a runner, and I was like, dude, that's why they invented the horse and buggy. That's why they invented a car. I get cardio. I trust me. We used to do all that stuff. Well, I used to watch everything I ate, pull the skin off the chicken, no gravy on the potatoes, no milk, no this, no that. Wouldn't matter. I'd still have to go out and run 7-8 miles a day. Where's Evie and Andy at? They would vouch for this, just to maintain a 156 to 158 body weight. And it wouldn't even, it wouldn't matter. There was no protein. You didn't drink protein shakes back then. Donuts, those are killer. You had to work your ass off in the gym to get size and strength, and there wasn't anything legally on the market. Let's put it that way. In the mid to late 80s, but that at least I knew of, especially overseas. But that's why I'm like, at this age of 55, I'm not going to go. I time wise and mentality wise, right now, I'm not going to go to the gym and work out every day. I'm a fool if I think I am, and I'm not going to fool myself like that. So scratch that off. So the best thing I can do for myself right now is drop some weight to make me feel better about healthier personally, and just get to a certain point to where then I can readdress it and say, okay, hey, you've dropped 30, 40 pounds. Maybe you want to go to the gym now and try it. Things like that. But I don't shame or question anyone that does that, because like I was over there a few weeks ago at Bars on Fire and watching, and there was people as old as me in there, if not older, and they were busting their ass, and I was just like, wow. 30 years ago, I'd have loved it. I would have probably ate that up. What Doc says. There are many different forms of exercise. The only good exercise is the kind you like. Restrictive diets aren't sustainable, but you can help lose weight in the short term. Most of the water water is stored in Germany. You are the expert. Exactly, Steph. 100%. I can tell you this, Doc. When I cut bread and sugar out, my knees, ankles, hips, and joints do not hurt, and I can tell it the very next day. I do not have to take Tums anymore once I cut bread and sugar out. Literally within 24 hours, that changes. That quick. Now, I don't know if I'm a little bit different than most or what, but I'm not. As a fact, on my hand on the Bible, if I eat bread, if I go tomorrow morning and get me a sandwich somewhere and a sandwich for lunch and come home and eat bread and or sugar, combination of, the next day, my hips will hurt, my knees will hurt, my ankles will hurt, every joint in my body will ache. And as you creep older in age, ibuprofen is your best friend. I haven't had to take ibuprofen. I haven't had to take Tums in the week and a half that I've been back on this. Right. No, I know there's fruit, there's carbs and sugars in the fruit, and I'm not going to stop eating or totally stop eating fruit and things like that. I'm going to cut it down because I just know how it feels when I eat it, and this is me. This is not. I'm not saying this will affect everybody the same way. And you do have a gentleman that spent many years in school studying this stuff and does this stuff for a living. %, Brandon. This earlier. And I told Corey, I said, let's do low carb cafe. And he said, I had a big juicy loaded burger with French fries, just enough salt in them with a twisty shake from Brain Chills. Got to have some good fattening fuel to get us through the days of tax season. So If it ends a berry, you can have it. If I find that doc online from California, I'm going to post one of his videos on our site. And I'd be curious what Brandon had to say, but he eats liver, brains, Rocky Mountain oysters, if you know what I'm saying. He eats papayas and coconut. Coconut is, actual out of the coconut, not at the store. Really good for you, he says. And he breaks down the vegetables that we have been taught by the CDC and the FDA and all these places that 100%, we always say that, Corey, that we've been taught that these are good for you, and he breaks it down to the chemicals in these vegetables and fruit that they're not that good for you. Some of them inhibit. Is that him? The Liver King? But Corey, does he make sense? That guy, and he's close to 50, and he looks like he could run a marathon. He goes out on water skis every day. He's a doctor, and he lays out his breakfast, and he eats more. I don't know. I have not heard him address Brussels sprouts. But he breaks down the chemical compound of the food and says what it does to your body once it mixes with your body and all that. And some of it's an inhibitor to digestion and all this and that. And the dude's fit, and he makes sense to me because he's eating breakfasts that I think I'd be like, oh boy. But his meal for breakfast is massive. And the food that he eats, you're like, that looks like dinner and lunch combo. Eats bone marrow, raw ground beef with raw eggs, testicles. Dude is absolutely ripped and a freak. Yes, there you go. And Corey's wording it different than me, but yes, the testicles, bone marrow, and I mean the guy, he doesn't bat an eye. You got to follow him if you're on TikTok. I don't know if he's got Insta or YouTube or Facebook. Is he on Facebook, CB? Wait. 100%, Connie. Would likely making that makes sense. That makes sense, Brandon. I mean, everybody's different though. Everybody is different, in my opinion, on how. I have guys that are. What's up, Keaton? How you doing, Skeet? How's life in the Navy? I had guys that I would work out with every day in the Army, and we would eat basically the same thing and lift the same thing, and one of us would lose weight and one of us would gain weight. Not drink any more beer or less beer than the other guy. And it was just, we'd run the same miles every day. We'd go eat the same mess food every day for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Go work out, same amount of weight lift, same amount of sets, same amount of miles we'd run. One of us would be getting stronger and one of us would be cutting weight. And I'm like, I don't, that doesn't add up to me. But one of our chemical compounds were different than the other guy. One of us needed more of something and less of something else. No, Brandon, I get that. If I went and ate Big Macs, if everybody went and ate Big Macs every day, then yeah, we'd all be 400 pounds and obese. And I don't want to go to the gym and work out. At 54, no, not anytime in the near future. I'm going to train for the Boston Marathon, Mr. Olympian. What's up, Mr. Helms? I was going to cover your thing here in a minute also. But there's a gentleman that went through some medical issues, and now he watches. It works for Rob. He watches everything he eats, but I think one day a week, and he looks great. His tone looks great. He just looks healthy as hell. Tyler, I'm making chicken thighs for Easter and 2 veggies, and you know that. I told you that today. And that works for Rob. Discipline and things like that is discipline in the area that you want to be disciplined the most, and it works for you because a lot of times on diets or healthy eating, people get turned off. They get the quick 2-3 days where they lose some weight, and then they hit the wall. No, not teriyaki. They hit the wall, and then they get frustrated and lose and drop out. But I think that's when everybody hits the wall. I think that's when maybe then you reassess. Thanks, but I don't have your hair. Mine's getting cut off probably tomorrow or Sunday. I think that's when you need to reassess and say, okay, I'm at my plateau for this. Now what can I do? What can I change? Mexican is Rob's secret, yes. What can I do to change it as far as do I start some sort of exercise program? Do I contact a medical personnel like Brandon and say, okay, I'm at this point. I've lost 20 pounds. I feel good enough. I think my body can handle a little more. What can we do, Brandon, to the next step? Low impact. Tell me where to go from here. Who is that? Got somebody here.
I'm in the gym, man. Live, aren't you?
Yes.
Okay. It's a real interruption.
I'm being interrupted here, some folks. Hang on.
Real deal.
Anyway, but whatever works for each individual is what I always say. See, Tyler can get on the Stairmaster and go for 45 minutes to an hour, and that's like Brandon. Brandon can go to the gym and work out. See, water aerobics would do nothing for me. I would get bored with that in a heartbeat. You might need to get your mind right first. I'm going to agree to disagree on that. There you go. Brandon said, if you ever want their help. But I think so many people, yeah, Darlene, I can, there's thousands of stories that people on the keto and the magic coffee and things like that, that it has worked wonders with. Yeah, that's what I said. You're on.
Hey.
Rob says, "What's up, JB?"
Hey, Rob.
I got to reconfigure because I have an unannounced guest show up in the middle of the broadcast. Rob, I got to need to lock that door.
It was locked.
Reps Fitness Hack you up.
The reps was on the elliptical today.
We don't care what JB was on. He's skinny.
No, I'm not.
He's skinny.
I will not take my shirt off on live porch time.
Yeah, Steph, I agree with that. You got to. I think we all have to get to a certain point, mentally and physically, and where we're at. Set your goal to be. I'm going to go A, B, C, and then when you get to C, like she's saying, so you don't get burned out, then maybe change it up, and then maybe start. If you want to go to the gym and walk the treadmill, if you want to walk the streets. That's such a bad term, but for exercise wise, I think we all need to set an early goal and then go from there. You don't have my hair either.
No, I don't have your hair.
Rose's hair looked great last night. I want to say hats off since JB's in here and Rob was on. I want to say hats off to Rob last night, RD Productions, what they did for the community and the sponsors of his program. It was a very cool setup at the Art Sanctuary. Hats off to Ron Stanhouse. Rob had all the sponsors come there for his up-and-coming concert season and put on a hell of a show. And Keaton, I'm sorry, Sam of the Streets. I want to get to him in a second. He put on a hell of a show. Rose sang. Was a good meal provided by the Local Grind, and if you haven't went to the Local Grind, you're missing out. She has great food there. But thanks to Rob last night, he does a lot for this community and pulls a lot of people together. And it was who's who from the community as a social event last night, I thought, as far as businesses that, and not all businesses can do it, but you don't have to give $1 million. You don't have to give $500,000. You don't have to give $10,000, but you can be a part of stuff like this and help the community out. I say do it, because this is stuff that gets people off the highway, that gets them to our stores, that gets them to our venues, and helps our community out as a whole. Keaton, how are things in Virginia? Keaton's over there in Virginia, serving our outstanding Navy. Haven't seen him for a little bit. He'll be coming home here soon, hopefully. I'm gonna try the low carb stuff like I've been doing, and I'm gonna stick with it for a while until I feel comfortable enough to where I can say, okay, this is the best way to put. In my opinion, some olive oil, some virgin olive oil. Now on keto, I will actually bake them, and you'll freak. But you've had them, Tyler. I brought them to work. Bake them in a glass jar, a glass pan.
Olives?
No. Chops.
Chops. Oh yeah.
And then with a full stick of butter in there, and let the butter melt all over them, and then eat them out just like that. Mm-hmm. They're very juicy. They're very tender, and there's nothing. There you go. We'll have to go out and celebrate my birthday in your home arrival, Keaton. You see what Steph says. Hang on.
We need to make Kevin's birthday a porch time.
Oh, we
seriously?
No, we don't.
We could do it for charity.
Same old. I think you missed it, but I'm going to work on the Mason for 2 weeks. When does that start, Keaton? Starting on Monday. Where's the Mason at? I always feel like I need to lose weight so that I look better before going to the gym because I always feel embarrassed. I know a lot of. I don't get embarrassed. There's not that. I don't get embarrassed, but I just don't. I know my limitations of my body, and I'm going to go in there, and I'm not going to like it. And well, when you used to go, what killed me is after I had stopped doing any kind of exercise, and I go to the gym for the first time, and I see all these young guys killing it. I'm like, man, why did I stop? Why did you stop going to exercising at all? When you know you could be smoking half those dudes on there, right? And I'm just being honest. Yeah. But as you get older, a different thing creeps in where you lose that spark or that fire in your body to go over there and work out, put some effort into it, and your effort has to go down, and your weight has to go down, your reps have to go down if you want to walk the next day or crawl out of bed. Just in Norfolk, that's cool, Skeet. What's up, Bill? But I hate with a passion running of any kind. I don't. And my brother, and you know him, he ran. We used to drop him off at the forestry on the top of the hill on 37, and he would run to Grassy Fork.
I used to run cross country with him.
Yeah, and he would run right down the highway all the way up to where 44 is, cut across Shady Lane and right through there. Oh, wow. And I'm like, oh. Is this your cool
okay?
Now? Mama's on now. You're in trouble.
Hey, Mama sends stars, honey.
Yeah, there you go.
I heard the subject, and I wanted to show real sweat to see my hair. I got real sweat in my hair. I've been on the. Let me tell you what I've been doing, because I'm doing the opposite of you, and now that's why I came.
And it works for you.
No, it's not working yet.
Oh,
I started in January. Okay.
Okay.
So every day I go in 5 days a week or 6 days a week.
Okay.
I go in and I do, because I don't want to make any repetitive injuries. I do 30 minutes on the treadmill. I do the treadmill old school. I do it uphill both ways. The whole time, 30 minutes uphill and at a decent pace. Hey, she did send some stuff.
Hang on. Cheryl's on there.
So, Cheryl knows. Cheryl knows I'm there.
Cheryl dogging us. Thank you, Melanie.
I see Cheryl quite a bit when I'm in there, but not every time. But anyway, I'll do 30 minutes on the treadmill. In fact, I'll say something that Cheryl said here in just. I do 30 minutes.
Cheryl said, go 40 minutes, get your ass in gear, JB.
I'll tell you what Cheryl said. And then I do every other day, I'll do 30 minutes on the elliptical machine, because I'm old. I'm 50 plus, and I don't want to beat on my knees. I don't want to beat on my shoulders. I'm too old for that. So I'm trying to do something smooth. But Cheryl probably gave me the best advice. She said, you can't work out a bad diet. You cannot out-exercise a bad diet. And if you're just eating crud all the time, you can't run it off.
Right. Yeah, 100%.
Not enough exercise. Now, one thing though and the guy that you're referencing, I think I've crossed the same guy. And I looked at his top. They start you this long thing. They want to pull you in for his infomercial kind of thing pops up on Facebook, and stay with it till the end. But he names things that are diet killers and stuff like that. And I'm trying something new here, and it's It's so simple that if I don't fail, I don't care.
I don't think he does an infomercial. This guy's just a.
Well, he said, "What the ingredients are your testosterone builders for
No.
men?" Oh, okay, I'm thinking.
No. I know
Okay.
who you mean. This dude's almost. It's got to be 51 or 52, if not 50.
I'm older than that, so that
And he
young.
is freaking cut to a T.
But the one thing this guy said, and I'm going to go ahead. I'm trying it. I just literally started it yesterday. He said, for male body, testosterone is part of your fat building stuff.
Sure.
And so he said one of the number one up builders of testosterone is ginger. That's why I put that on there.
Yeah.
Because I'm just taking ginger caps. It says it takes 3 months and he raises yourself 17%. So I'm going to try it. We'll see what happens. It's an experiment in progress.
And see, that's the focus that you're going on, and that's what you're comfortable with, and that's what you like. And mentally, you're doing what's good for you.
Right. But I'm not always doing everything what's good for me. Okay, so I'm working out 6 days a week really hard, trying to get the cardio, trying to get that up. But I'm also on the Reese's peanut butter cup diet.
See, I
kidding, not kidding.
I didn't drink pop anyway.
I don't drink pop.
And I am addicted to sugar in forms of bread,
Peeps.
potatoes, candy,
Yeah,
things like that. But that's what I grew up with. I mean, we
did.
Excuse me, we had bread and butter at every meal.
Sure. Absolutely.
Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We had potatoes every night. It did not matter. We ate potatoes of some form every stinking night, or pasta.
Father-in-law, who just passed away at 90. He only passed away because he got 98 years old. He ate sugar every meal. He butter his bread down and do everything that they said you shouldn't do. But he also ate a piece of fruit every day, raw, like a banana or something like that. Yeah.
But I mean, that worked for him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That one old gal that died at 108, they said, "What was your daily diet?" I ate bacon and eggs every morning and sausage for breakfast, drank black coffee, smoked cigarettes, and I'm like, how, you're right.
Yeah,
she butchered the hog, killed the chickens, and almost slipped up there.
Yeah.
You say you're cardio, but are you lifting also?
No, I am not lifting yet. I was trying to get. Okay. Steven, I'll tell you a story, Steph, that for those of you, most people know, but my wife's disabled. That's not a secret. We don't try to hide that and everything. And I do a lot of intermittent lifting, but no exercise lifting. And so I'm real cautious. I don't want to do anything that's going to burn out an elbow, burn out a shoulder, or burn out a knee. I've got to keep this finely tuned and fat bubble right here in action, because if I ever stop, I'm in trouble. So, I mean, I need to start lifting. I'd rather lift light weights with more rep, lots of times. Can't get that word out of my mouth. But no, the diet has not changed yet. So I would need to both change diet and start lifting.
That's what she said. You don't have to lift heavy.
No, I don't want to lift heavy.
Mr. Burton says 6'4", 144, eat and drink what I want, and I'm in perfect health. There you go. And his metabolism works perfect, and he's that's
not my story either.
But and that's what I was trying to get through Steph is I'm the type of person that if you say, "Hey, we're going to bring pizza over," I can be like, "I'm not eating pizza. I don't want pizza. I can't eat pizza. I don't want pizza. I'm not getting any pizza. I'm not going to get pizza. I'll eat one piece of pizza and it's on." It's like someone takes that light switch and goes, click, because that body wants that sugar, and I got to have it in me, and there's just no stopping it. So don't bring that damn pizza in here because I can't do it.
I gotta get some control.
Smoke a pack and eat whatever. There you go, and it works for him. And
he needs to come lay hands on us.
Right. But there's people like that, and I guarantee that there could be 10 people that come behind them, say 6'4", smoke and eat whatever I want, and I'm 300 pounds and I can't breathe, and because it affects him differently than it does him.
I mean, when I say my fear, I don't mean like my gripping. I think about it every minute. I don't want to die of a heart attack, and that's why I'm working out. That's not in our hands, though. I know.
We know that.
But if I could do my part to make it not.
Who was it? Jack LaLanne, anxiety and caffeine.
I got both.
I was going to say, you could have put caffeine and anxiety the other way around, and I'd agree with you 100% because I got it.
Yeah, I got it.
Jack LaLanne was the workout guru when we were kids, and he died of a heart attack.
Yeah, but at what age?
70s. But I mean, just like the one doctor said, the This is a doctor that is against running because he's like, there's only so many heartbeats in your heart from the time you start beating to when it quits. And like anything, it gets tired. And he goes, some of these, what about when you're old and can't move? And I'll get right back to that, Sharon. Hang on. He's like, you get to that age where he goes, so don't push your heart beyond the limits of it should go. Fast walking, bicycling, things like that. He goes, but he wasn't a big on runner. I'd rather go over there and ride a bike for 4 hours and ride 30 miles than run or walk fast 3.
Now there's a guy. Yeah, there's a guy next to me. He frequently ends up next to me on the treadmill, and he gets his heartbeat up to like 50 some, and he's like, I'm late 50s. I'm almost 60.
Yeah.
And he's like mid 50s, and he's getting up to the 150 zone, and I'm like,
probably doesn't bother him though.
It doesn't. But now the top I get to is like 135, somewhere in that range. I'm running around 100.
I get that in the mornings when I get out of bed.
I get that one. I get that when my wife yells at me.
Sharon, what I'm gonna tell you this, and this is mine. I know Brandon and Steph and others have different philosophies and stories about this, but for me, this works for me. The day within 24 hours of me not eating bread and cutting sugar 90 to 95% out of my body, my joints no longer hurt. Because I can eat and I can function fine, but I'm telling you, inside I'm like, my freaking knees hurt so bad and my hips hurt. And by the time I go to bed at night, my knees and ankles are like, thank God, let's lay down and get off of it. But and Tums, I live off of Tums. But the minute I quit,
I heard you saying that on the way
bread
here.
and the sugar, I literally don't. And my ex will tell you, I lived off of Tums every night, at least 3. And I would still wake up some nights and aspirate from acid reflux.
Well, my daughter,
the minute I quit, I have 2 bottles of Tums in there. I haven't opened in a week and a half.
My daughter found out that she has gluten issues. As soon as she started, any day she's got all the gluten out of her diet, that doesn't feel it. But as soon as she adds gluten back in anything, she says, I feel bloated. I feel like I've got gas on my stomach. Maybe you're in the same boat.
I don't know if it's gluten. I don't buy. Well, Brandon's on here. I don't buy the gluten thing because I think it's whatever they put in the food. 90% of it isn't food anymore. What we get.
Somebody's dealing with it right there.
Right,
Teresa.
Part of the issues, the amount of hormones in her. There. Yep. 100%. 100%.
I agree with Teresa's observation.
Assessment. I wish, but Brandon, I apologize. I didn't even. But this just kind of came up tonight. If you were in town, I certainly would say, "Come on over here and hang out with us and chat." But
he didn't invite me. I just showed.
Yeah, JB just kicked the door in. But Sharon, that works for me. No bread, no sugar, and I'm telling you now, sugar is the most addictive thing on this planet, and we are all addicted to it in some way. And it is I think it is the root of 90% of our issues moving forward. You know how the ants collect sugar? Yeah. We're ants, and we collect sugar in everything we do.
I do have something to say to Sharon.
Go ahead,
Sharon. I don't know your situation, of course, but I would just say this: and sweet lady that cuts our hair tells us to all the time: move. Yeah. If you can't move fast, move slow. If you can't get up and walk, move your arms, stretch them, do whatever you can do. Keep yourself moving. My wife, every single morning, we've been married, 30?
What's up, G?
Honey, we got married in, do the math, text it to me. We got married in 85. I know that. But we got an anniversary coming up here. All the years that we've been married, 90% of every day we've been married, we start out by me stretching her legs. She doesn't walk. I stretch her legs every day. I put her arms up over her head, stretch them. I put her legs in different positions, and I do stretches and pushes and keep all those muscles used. Even though she hasn't walked in 35 years, I stretch her muscles every day.
We're getting into what Brandon has talked about on here before, because I asked, well, he brought it up, and not all of them, but a lot of times when you see older people when they walk bent over, because they've been sitting hours at a time. Stop doing it. Muscles in their back don't want to work. And so then their body is used to that position, and then they walk bent over. And he said, because you got to get up, you got to keep moving, you got to keep stretching. Your body is made.
And you know why? And I learned this when my wife broke her shoulder. That, like, okay, when I go like this is going to be a good example. Everybody's going to learn this. When I go like that, I literally just created minor fractures. Yeah. And what that does is it creates a minor fracture. And
I didn't know we were doing a physics class tonight.
No, this is physics. This is really interesting. Okay,
For every
and
action,
so
there's an equal or greater reaction.
You get the calcium comes and one other ingredient, I can't remember what it is, and it builds stronger and stronger and stronger. So that's why a football player who's doing hits all the time, why can he take a hit? And if you and me would get splattered the first time we got hit,
that's why they always say there's in shape and there's football shape. That's why they go through the preseason,
because they keep hitting.
And the first time a quarterback gets his bell rung, you'll see him a lot of times get up and have an excellent game because he's like, my body wasn't used to getting hit like that. Now it remembers, hey, you better toughen up.
You got to keep moving. You got to keep moving, because every time you move, you create little micro fractures, and that's how you get bent over. And I mean, I hope, does that make sense? I mean, I hope that's making sense.
Yeah, you got to keep moving.
Hey, Tim Ledford.
My grandma's 94 and walks treadmill 518 rides, but and there you go.
Oh, I want to meet your grandma.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, that is one thing that Brandon talks about in his class, on his thing that he does, is stretching and movement and things like that. But when you have issues and pain, that's when he can come in and say, do A, B, and C, and try this, and that's his specialty.
But I'm not, when I say that, I don't say that. This is things that I didn't.
That's how I am. That's why I was like. That's why
I don't want to try to come here and act like I know everything.
We eat a great deal of products that get bad. Yep. Yes. Too much sugar. It feeds the bacteria. Yep. Cut the sugar out. And it's less feed on. My stepdad had prescribed antibiotic, cut flex out. Yeah. The minute I cut sugar and bread out of my life, my joints no longer hurt. I don't need to take ibuprofen to function throughout the day. And my acid reflux goes away. Like, not just ceases or slows down, gone. And I can tell you this. Used to be, I was like, I would have to time myself. I can't eat after 5 o'clock. And this was eating a regular meal, because I know if I eat after 5 o'clock, come 1:30 in the morning, I'm waking up with a 5-alarm fire in my throat, dying. Sometimes Tums wouldn't even help. But on keto, or on no bread, no sugar, I can eat at 10 o'clock at night and go in there and lay down and go to bed and not have an issue.
Right. Of course,
it is amazing.
And the one thing I heard about keto, and this is a caution, I've never done a keto. I've did something similar to the Atkins.
And I'm going to have a rebuttal for this, because...
Right. Okay. Well, the one thing I don't think you will, because I think you'll go there. The one thing that I heard about keto, and the guy that was teaching keto, he said, just don't use eating a lot of meat. Fatty meat.
Oh no, 100%.
Yeah. Don't go just go buy the nastiest fat
they want you to have fat in your diet.
Right, but there's fat there.
A lot of people hate the keto because you got to have the carbs. You got to have some carbs for this, that, and the other. And I'm like, look, if I continue the path that I am, because it's the path of least resistance, I'm not going to have to worry about keto, because all I'm going to have to worry about is what 6 people are going to carry me to where I'm laying. So let me get through this. Let me see where it takes me, and then hit my plateau and go from there. Because I get that there's not a book that says keto is the best way to live and eat food. And it doesn't work that way. What's up, James? I think
there's some studies that keto's not as good for women as it is for men, and maybe somebody here has a comment on that. I've heard that women do not do as well on keto as men do. Somebody might have a different opinion.
I think that one of the things why that is probably more so true is that women aren't as much meat eaters as men are. And with 4 sisters, 3 daughters, an ex, grandmas, tons of women in my family, women are not as much as meat eaters. Not all women, because Angela could eat as much steak as any human I've ever seen in my life, and burp and go back for more. Matter of fact, she ate me under the table at Fogo when we went. So they go to the diet with lettuce and fruit and things like that. and the little bit of meat, but it's the same stuff they were eating anyway, and it doesn't change they don't change a whole lot. Because I've had a couple gals that I know that have done it, and they're like, I can't do keto because it doesn't affect me. But I think you got to have the protein. Yeah, that's probably valid, Teresa. But I mean, it depends if you identify as a man or a woman, though, too.
I don't think keto checks your gender preference.
Wait. We can't get into DNA. That's hogwash.
Yeah, I'm not a biologist.
Can you tell me what a woman is? No, I'm sorry, I can't.
That's so scary.
I didn't realize it was going to go that way tonight. But when she put men in body fat,
I mean, well, there's no.
I'm going to question you on that body fat because we can measure pound for pound right now, and we'll see.
Are you talking about BMI?
I'm giving her crap. Meaning that men have more muscle mass, which the protein that you need is going to feed them, and then you chew the bad stuff up where they don't have as much muscle. Well, they've got to work off actual fat. The biggest thing on women, I identify as a human with birth rights in my history.
Okay,
that's good. I will say this: a lady can lose 5 pounds, and you can tell instantly, and they know it, you know it, everybody can see it. A guy loses 5 pounds, and you're like, "On your earlobe? Where'd you lose 5 pounds?" You don't see it. You do not see it. A guy has to lose 15 to 20 pounds before somebody notices. Yeah. A woman loses 10 pounds, you're like, "Wow, what have you been doing?"
Well, and then
I cut Starbucks out for a week. Oh, okay.
That gets back to the old. I mean, not adage. I mean, it's a medical fact that more women die of heart attacks than men.
Because they have to put up with us.
No, I mean it just comes. Women, So I mean, it's important for them to.
I did not know more women die of heart attacks than men.
Why? This is going to be this stupidest thing ever, but it's truth. Because when a man dies of a heart attack, they say his heart just burst out of his chest. A woman dies of a heart attack, they say the heart just stopped. And it's the same thing. A heart attack's a heart attack, whether her
little heart stopped or
her little heart just stopped, and it's like, no, I mean,
we lose 5 pounds of nose because we tell everyone.
But no, I mean,
there's so much truth to that statement.
I mean, with a woman having I mean, it is true that more women die of heart condition. Don't think of it that way. It's important to all of us.
Let me cover this stuff real quick. One other thing before I want to get to, we have our golf outing. We need sponsors. We're short on sponsors this year. We know not everybody that did it last year can do it. It's hard times. Money's tight, but we need sponsors. I'm going to email. Just let you know. No, the guys ain't moving. Not moving. Jump out and get back in, Bill. I just got a ton of messages. It's because women aren't taken seriously. We are treated for anxiety instead of cardiac. Probably a lot of truth to
Teresa
that.
You should get Teresa in here. She knows. I mean, honestly, she does say things. She says things that make sense. I mean,
I like strawberries and raspberries and cauliflower and celery in the fridge, but sometimes I feel like I need something to eat. Almonds is my snack that I want to eat the most of, and not. I like them sliced already. Lots of eggs. I eat a ton of eggs now. Man, after listening to all this, I'm wondering if I need to work on carb intake. I know if it eats sweets and bread and beer, I can lose weight a lot easier. But Steph, I'm telling you, you guys will see and hear me joke about drinking a lot and all that on here, but my crew will tell you, very rarely. Not a big bar guy. Even when I went to Gillespie's that night, I think I had 2. I just don't. The urge is long gone for that. If you want to know the truth, I've quit drinking pop many years ago. The only reason I would ever have it if I was going to mix it with something. So that's not hard for me. Sweets is a big thing. That thing we had over here, the event we just had over here recently, we had so many good things in here that I think I ate some of the brownies and I had to push the pan away. Yeah, there's still stuff in there
How do you
that
stay out of that?
I don't. It's bought and paid for. It's not mine. Is the way I look at it. So, but yeah, our golf outing. We need sponsors. We need teams. We're coming up on it. We're about 15 days away, and we're not near where we were last year. And just get a hold of me, even if you just want to sponsor a hole. I am seriously going to message each and every one of these sponsors on here over the next 24 hours and ask them, hey, we need some help here. Help us out.
Yeah.
But I wanted to get that in. I know Beth's watching. So, that I did. And she won't yell at me. Beth yells at me all the time. She's a wonderful lady. She is a wonderful, hard-working. She's in about 10 boards. She's on campaigns. She is a blessing. And I tell the story, and I'll tell this story now. And I've told it before. But when I first met Bethany, it was during a campaign a few years ago. Women have different symptoms for heart attack. At times they have pain instead of chest pain. I'm dropping off this week. Thank you, Teresa. Thank you so much. We were campaigning for somebody, and I won't go into the campaign of who won and who lost and all that stuff. But I'm like, I need to be somewhere near people because I know a lot of people. And they're like, well, we're going to put you out at Faith Church. So, Faith Church. A, there's nobody going to show up at Faith Church on election day. They very rarely do. It's one of the lower turnout points. And B, who you got me with? And they're like, you're with a lady named Bethany. And I've told Beth this. And my mind instantly went, Bethany, Aunt Bethany from freaking vacation, Christmas vacation. I'm like, you got me out somewhere in the middle of nowhere, some older lady that I don't know. And I'm like, I'm not going to be able to be me. Mm-hmm. And she's like, no, you'll love her. She's a nice lady. You'll have a wonderful time. I'm like, oh, boy. The boss is amazing what she is. Thank you, Bill. I'm like, oh, boy, this is going to be interesting. So I pull up out there at 6:30 in the morning or whatever. And it's the May election. And introduce myself. And I'm like, where's Bethany? You her younger sister or what? You're about 25, you know? And it just so happens not long after that, Matt Hansen shows up, and Judge Hansen and I are pretty good friends, and we play some Fortnite together, and we give each other grief all the time. Well, she got to hear an hour of me and him going back and forth, and she was just like, oh, boy, you know. But just was totally wrong about Beth as the image of my mind before I got there. And from that day on, I told her what we did because she'd never heard of what we did. And she got involved and has not. I think it was like 2 weeks later we had a big meeting, and she was one of the first ones she went to, and we decided, because for the first year I pretty much did money and everything else on my own. Mm-hmm. And they're like, you need to divvy some of this up. Right. And so I was like, Beth, yeah, do you want to help? She keeps us grounded. She takes care of all the financing. She takes care of all the money. That lady is an amazing. Well, not only her family's amazing. I love Matt and Bethany and Devin and the girls. They're just good people, and we are blessed to have them as part of Porch Time. And now she works for Rob. She does MCLA. She's on. She thinks she's working with Kelly Akala, and different things like that. Mm-hmm. So she's a wonderful gal. She is. Yeah. She is, and she's always sharp. She's always 100% knows what she's doing. It used to be on her events. About 11:30, I start panicking because we normally start at 1, and I start pacing and adding up numbers, and like, we don't have enough stuff. And she's like, it'll get here. Calm it down. But every now and then the roles will be reversed. And the minute she shows up to where we're at, you can tell. And I'm like, you need to calm down. What is wrong with you? You're not the one that does this. Yeah. So when she gets it going, I'm like, dude, you need drive over to Starbucks here. Go over and get you some coffee. Yeah, do something. Because she gets fired up, and now is the time to panic. Oh yeah, and I'm like, hey, you can't panic. That's my task. Yes. So it's funny, and a lot of people don't see this stuff when we do stuff like this. There's a lot of thought and before we go on air and start selling off stuff, we want to make the individual we're helping as much money as we can.
All right.
And when the thought of, first of all, saying, hey, help us out, donate us stuff, we hate doing that, but that's the only way we know how. Then we say, hey, donate stuff, and then, hey, pay for stuff. But that's the only way we know how, and that's the way it works. Well, when we're adding stuff up in our head, we've only got 40 items, and you know, and it's like
$4,000. That's all we're going to do.
Yeah, that's it. And we go through that every day, all the time.
Yeah.
And
everybody's very generous.
And you know, we have a list of people that it's not written down, but we know, hey, did you message so and so? Are they going to be on? And so between her, myself, Corey, Tim, and Billy, and the others, it gets intense where everybody's like, but by the end of the day, when we've hit our goal, everybody's like, okay, we're putting all this together. $8 got it out the door. Yeah. You know, at that point in time. But he has such a great heart and soul. She made 100%.
Well, that's my wife.
Yeah.
My wife's at home. She's not missing me at all. She didn't. You don't see on her say, "Honey, come home. I miss you. I love you."
No, I thought she was going to say, "Can you go to the store when you get?"
Well, listen. My wife's hooked up. She knows how to get me messages.
Right, 100%.
If she needs anything, she can get a hold of me when I'm not there.
Spot on, Steph. Well, that's my rant for the day. There's Corey. He's back on. CB. CB went to Brain Chills tonight and had a hamburger and fries and a shake. And right when I'm texting him and Beth about doing a low-carb cafe starting up, Corey's like, I don't think I'd be very good at a low-carb cafe.
You know, Billy Graham said that there's nobody completely useless. You could always use them as a bad example.
Yeah, right. No.
You could be a good bad example.
No. Corey's another one.
Corey's a sweetheart.
Corey's a hell of a guy. Knows a lot of folks in town.
Good stock.
Comes from a good family. Mm-hmm. And, you know, he's the quiet one of the group, but always there, always willing to help. And I will never forget his video as long as I live from down in Mayfield. He took the first group down there. I could not go the first weekend.
Ralph. Larry Ralph.
Fish my little bit on it, right.
What did he say?
Hey, we get stuff still over that people hadn't picked up.
That was the gospel truth. If I ever told it, laying there taking a nap, hearing my name on the radio or on the feed.
But that video he did down in he's a big teddy bear. He's a big boy, and if you get him riled up, he can get riled up as the best of them. But that guy has got one of the biggest hearts any person's ever had, and he's an excellent person to work with. That's one thing I always say. It's about what we do here. We're able to do what we do because we have people that put aside differences, egos, and things like that, and our focus is on
Corey's not one bit about himself. He when you say put aside egos, he's about everybody else. That's okay. Don't turn your ears off, Corey, because we're going to say nice things. We don't want.
She's bidden.
Go to sleep, honey.
I will say this: someone had said that about one of our, and I hate to use this word, but haters. Recently ran into somebody that we know.
You a hater?
And
I don't care. I'll take.
That's what I know, Bill. That's where he gets it from. And yeah, you're spot on, Bill. And that we do a lot of stuff for our own good and all this and that. And I'm like, I wish they could see what goes on in some of our messaging and when we're trying to weekly. And Corey and Beth will back this up. I get messages from people asking us to help, and I'm not going to knock names, where areas that we know, look, we can't do that. We wish we could.
We can't. But we
can't do that.
Well,
and it will eat at us, and it eats at me. And there's times when I don't even show them the message that I just have to flat tell them no. And you have no idea what it's like when you say no, 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 and something pops up and you say yes. Mm. And then it happens every time we do something yes, because this is worthy and we can help this group and we can help this person and we can make this work. And then within 24 to 48 hours after we finished,
saying help me.
Something else popped up that you're like, And if you look at the situation right now in the community, there's a couple things where we could be helping, where the giving tree's about spent right now. We were lucky to get what we got, the 8,000 on that, because there's a lot of people hurting, a lot of people without money, and a lot of people are holding on to their money which I get 100%. And so it's just, it happens that way a lot. And so many times, a lot of it, we don't make public for our own good. We get, there's 2 or 3 times, especially right after, 2 or 3 times a week for about a month or month and a half after, I get asked, hey, my uncle's grandson's daughter's sister's best friend has a hangnail, and they're down on their cash. Yeah. I can't do that.
Right. You can't do everything. You can do what you do. You can't do everything.
But man, that eats at all of us. And every one of them, but Corey, Beth, Timmy, all of them could shoot a story out right now and say, I have someone today that we could go help. We need to go help.
Oh, yeah.
I have. As a matter of fact, I know there's 2 instances right now that I could name that one is not known at all that we could go help, but we can't do that. For one, I'm not going to put together a show and give them $800 or $1,000. Right. And 2, you have to have the vision to see, okay, we can't. And that's the hard part. Right. That is the hard part.
Along those lines, me and my wife have been on the receiving end a lot of times. And like somebody will do something really nice for us, you know what I'm saying? And I will specifically say, because I'll say, so, somebody, and I'll leave their name out. And they'll say, well, you could have said my name if you wanted to. And it's like, right. Well, there's a reason why I don't do that. Because if somebody came over and put a set of tires on my van or something like that, and you go, Bill Smith put a set of tires on my van,
because he's going to get messages.
Bill Smith is going to get a bunch of messages. There's no Bill Smith. I'm making that up.
Yeah. But actually there is, I know too.
Well, okay, no specific Bill Smith. But anyway, I mean, it's just the people. Why didn't he do that for me? He didn't do that for his own kids. Right. It's like, it doesn't matter. It's none of your business.
Yeah.
You do for who you can do. You guys had fundraisers, and I didn't help on some of them. I help when I can.
I don't expect everybody to help.
I help when I can, and I help when I can.
That is the key. That is the key. 100%.
Yeah, and you just feel more led sometimes than you do other times. Okay, you didn't even ask me here. I'll shut up.
I'm gonna end it anyway.
Okay.
I am gonna go work in the morning, but back to that. If we could help, I always say, if I was a millionaire and I didn't need a full-time job during the day and I could do this all the time, I would help people that I know would need help, but we can't do that. Right. My money tree outside's only about this big, and the leaves are pinched off of it. And I have $3, and I wish Tyler was back on here. I have $3 that if I open my wallet and there's money in there, they will contact me instantly and say, Dad, I was telling, he's a young guy, and he's just in his late 20s, 30, getting started in life. And I tell him, I said, when you have daughters, I'm giving that wisdom, that dad talk. When you have daughters, they know when you got money. I said, watch this. And I open my wallet, and I go, within 15 minutes, one of mine will call. Logan called 2 minutes later. Now it was potluck, but he started laughing. But you're, as a dad, you'll learn that. But I wish we could help everybody, but it doesn't always work out that way. And there's times it's so frustrating where we'll do an event on a Sunday night, and by Wednesday, somebody's house caught fire and they lost everything. Right. And I'm like, which cause was the most worthy, and which one did we do? Did we make the right decision? Of course, in the eyes of the individual that you're helping, you're making the right decision.
You made the decision you made.
Yeah.
And sometimes, I mean, you can always miss something. Yeah. You're always going to.
100%.
That's how it is. Do what you can.
Mushroom honey in the morning, I'll find you an extra. Bill, you don't have to do that. He brought me mushrooms last year that I ate. That's Bill Martin.
Do I know Bill?
Yeah, he was military, and he worked at the armory for decades.
We're close personal friends, and he's... No, I'm just kidding. Oh. I can go get my own mushrooms.
You can help when you...
Situation, no matter what. That's right.
100%.
It's true.
Well, one thing that I always say when... I see a lot of people not on our site, on our site, and lots of others. There's nothing to do in this town. I want to help. Where can I help? There's lots to do in this town.
Yes,
there are lots to do in this town, and you can help. But praying is one way, and just being there. I remember when we did our first one was downtown with Matt for Matt Stout. And we're 3 hours into it, and I look out in the area of New Start Home Realty where we were. That whole area is filled, but I can't see more. This is a Sunday afternoon, middle of summer. I'm like, and Andrew was in studio with his Ramey. People outside all the way in the middle of Morgan Street. And not all of them gave, not all of them donated, but they were there in support of what we were doing. And that, massive to me. And at one point in time, I went outside because, like, you sit on your butt that long and your mind's trying to do all this, keep it straight. Wears you out mentally and physically. And I'm like, I got to go for a walk, chill out for a little bit. I go outside. Timmy, Billy, myself, and Corey were all outside. I was like, who the hell's online? I look in here and it was Collier and Wessler. And I was like, all 4 seats had nobody associated with Porch Time.
Yeah.
But they were running the show no different than we were. And they were auctioning off stuff.
Doing things well. Yeah.
And I was just like, that's hilarious. Yeah. So, and it was beautiful to see because
Sure.
it was such a worthy cause with Matt. And that's the type. I don't know. I could name names. Kenny Duncan is one guy that comes to mind. I can call that. I could text that guy right now and say, he only lives right over there. Kenny, I need A, B, and C. Well, give me a minute. I got to put the kids in bed and tell the wife I'm going. I'll be right over. And he's one of them. Or I can say, hey, Kenny, a friend of mine's power's out on the west end of town. You know what's going on? And he'll contact and say, hey, that's just the type of person that we love and will do anything for the community. Even though he gets on here and he's a pain in the butt talking about the Reds, we give him grief.
No, I'm just kidding.
But I could give you 50. Teresa Mesmer is another one. Yeah. I give you 50 people that are like that, and it's.
Yep.
Anyway, tomorrow morning I will be live at a food establishment here in town for a low carb cafe first show. And all I'm doing is I'm giving promotions to the place we're going, to the individuals that do eat the keto and do go low carb, or maybe just want to try something different. I will show you what I get, and after I eat it, I will get back on and say, hey, I'm not gonna let you watch me eat. I don't. That's one thing I hate about food shows where you got Gordon Ramsay and Bobby Flay and everybody, and they eat the food right in front of you. I know. I'm like, no, I don't like that. Then I will give an assessment of good, bad, or indifferent. I'm going to be honest and go from there. And then maybe in a couple weeks, I'll hit another breakfast place and see what they have low carb. And maybe they have more to offer low carb, so I may have to go back to that. And then eventually we'll get into lunch and maybe to dinner. I know Indy's on Friday night has catfish, and I went there 2 weeks ago. And it is breaded, but it's minimal bread. So, I mean, catfish there is delicious. I'm not going to lie. Last time I went there, I got 2 big fish and 2 sides of green. That was my dinner, and it was delicious. Yeah. And their catfish is good. So, anyway, there's Sharon. How you doing, Sharon? We're going to jump. I will be on sometime tomorrow morning, a little bit after 7. JB, thanks for the uninvited stop by. So, love you guys. He's going to go back to gym and work off weight now. He's going back. Told Mama he's still got to go exercise. So.
No, I've exercised. I'm going home.
You're going back to the gym.
My sweat's all dried, man.
You need to go back and get hot again. So,
there you go.
Anyway, love you guys. We'll see you soon.